So a sketch can be super useful. So here's the basic sketch. Whoops, hold on. My computer wants to restart, and now is not the time. There. I wanted to show you 3 different cards using the same sketch to get us started. So I made one, and then I'm going to make 2 with you. Here's one. This one is using Lemon Zest. It's a really fun stamp set, and we tend to think of it for, oh, in the summer, we're not going to use it now, but it's still a great little stamp set. If life gives you lemons, chuck them right back. Life is short, squeeze it for all it's worth. Lots of cool things. And it goes with a punch that punches out the lemon and the leaves, and I've lost it in the 2 minutes before since I used it. So this is the punch that punches out the lemon and the leaves, okay? I also used an embossing folder, and I never know the names of these. I say every time I'm going to put my name on them, and I never do. It's the leaves one, but this is one of the dynamic ones. They're really thick, so you have to do them a little bit differently in your, let's look at the difference. This is the dynamic embossing one, and then this is the regular embossing folder. See the difference in the thickness? So you do a little bit of different sandwich in the Big Shot, and I'll show you that. If you were going to use the regular embossing folder, you take your paper. Let's emboss this for the next card. Let me just cut one down, and we will emboss this for the next card. And we're going to use the, hold on, let me just cut here. I could bring this over so you could see it, but we've run out of room, so I kind of trim over to one side. So here's the 2x4. Layered leaves. Thank you, Debbie. Debbie is my Vanna. She keeps me in line. So this one is layered leaves, and this gave me this background. Really cool, right? I love using embossing folders. They just add such dimension to your card. So that's layered leaves. So if I was going to use the regular embossing folders, not the dynamic ones, they're thinner. I'm going to put this in here. And I'm going to use, I'm over here at this camera now, just to make life confusing. I'm going to use the regular platform that came with my Big Shot, not the magnetic one, just the regular one, which looks like, just says Big Shot platform, comes with it. I'm going to use a clear plate, my embossing folder with my paper in it, and a clear plate on top, and just run it on through. No electricity needed, just a little bit, and it's really not hard. Doesn't take a lot of effort. And then I get this amazing dimension to my cardstock. Now, if I was going to use the leaves like I did for this one, it's thicker. So to put that through, I need a piece of paper, my cardstock in here. I could go this way, I can go this way, it doesn't matter which way I do it. And instead of the 2 plates, I only use 1. So I use the platform, the folder, and 1 plate on top, and crank it on through. And you're probably thinking, if you've not used this Big Shot before, then what's this magnet, what's that for? Well, the magnetic platform is to use with your dies, any of the metal dies that you're going to use on your cards. And this is my other favorite. It's the stitched thinlits. Use these a lot. And to do those, you're going to swap out this platform and put the magnetic one in with the 2 plates. Okay? So when you're using the embossing folder, you're going to use a different platform. And depending on whether it's a regular one or the dynamic one, and you can see the difference. The dynamic, you can see the dynamic one, they're a little more deeply embossed than the standard one. And Stampin' Up! Has several in that style, that dynamic style. Okay, I digress a little bit on the Big Shot. So let's go back to our sketch so that you can see where this card came from. It's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. That's the base of the card. That's this white piece. I decided to do this one a little bit different. Probably 90% of my cards are like this or like this. This card, though, is opening on this side, this way. Still the same size. Still going to use the same sketch, but I'm going to open it with a side fold and a more of a horizontal style card. Okay? How do you cut those? Remember, you're going to use your regular 8 1/2 by 11 piece of cardstock to get this style card, the kind I use most of the time. You simply cut this right down the middle at 4 1/4, score, and flop it over, and you get 2 cards out of one of these. To do the other style, you're going to cut it, your paper, the long way, and then you're going to score it at 5 1/2 in the middle, and then your card could either be a tall stand-up card or it can be this way. So your card could go like this. If I had something, if I had designed it differently, it could go this way. Okay? All right. So tonight, the 2 cards that we're going to do together, we're going to do one with a side fold and a top fold. And you're looking at this saying, well, but the sketch goes like this. Well, the sketch could go like this. Or the sketch could go like this. Don't be stuck with it just because that's the way it's set up. So you're going to get as many options as possible. All right. So the first stamp set I'm going to use, and how do I go about figuring out what I'm going to do? I pick out what I want the card for, who I want it for. If I'm just making one to make one, then it's for me. But if I'm making one for a friend or a specific gift, then that kind of directs me where I'm going to go with it. But in this case, I wanted to use the Daisy Delight stamp set and the Daisy Delight punch. These two are a bundle. They work together. Sometimes they're bundled and they stay bundled in the catalog. Sometimes they're offered as a bundle and then they do stay, but they don't stay as a bundle. The bundle, when it's packaged that way, it's a little bit less expensive when you buy both together at the same time. Doesn't always happen that way, but sometimes they do. Okay, so I'm going to do the Daisy Delight and I'm going to do Thank You. Kind of a traditionalist tonight, and I want the daisy to be out of So Saffron. I want my daisy to be yellow. So it's actually going to be a Brown-Eyed Susan instead of really a daisy. So it's going to be a Brown-Eyed Susan. So I've got this color, so I need something for my background. On here, I use the green. Well, the green would work, but I could also use a pattern paper. That might work well, and it would give me a little something to kind of pop the daisy off the page. So I'm going to look through here and find, I have this really cute green heart. This is one of the pattern papers from, this was the coffee one. I can't think of its name either. Debbie might tell us, but, but this is going to be my 4 by 5 1/4. So let's cut that. So we're going to go with 5 1/4 by 4. So I'm not going to emboss this because this is going to give me the design on the front of my card. And I'm going to go with my card this way, and this is going to go like this. All right. So I'm going to put this down now so I don't have to worry about it. Now I could have done the green hearts, but I'm liking the polka dots. I'm using my snail, And I'm just going to position this right in the middle. This was 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm trying to decide, you know what, the first time I'll do my sketch the way it is. So I'm going to do it this way. So now I need a 2 by 4 that's going to go here, that's going to help bring out this daisy. Okay, so I need another color that's going to help with that. And I'm going to go with my garden green. So I need a 2 by 4 piece to go there. So I'm going to go with 4 by 2. And that's going to go right here. And I'm going to put that down too. All right, and now I'm ready to stamp and make my daisy. So the base of my card is done. I need this circle piece right here. In this case, it's going to be the daisy. I'm going to put this over here so that you can still see it on that camera so you don't forget what we're doing. All right, so now we're ready to actually make this come out. So I'm going to take out my daisy. And I have this. But this time, I'm going to do this one with heat embossing. Oh, Debbie tells me this is from Coffee Break Designer Series paper. Thanks, Deb. I'm going to do this with heat embossing. So we're going to get kind of a fancy looking white embossed on our card. So I'm going to grab my Versamark ink. And I'm going to put this on here. And I'm going to wipe this down with my embossing buddy first. Get this nice and inked up with my Versamark. And I'm going to go here. To make this daisy, you need 2 of these to give it enough dimension. So there's 1. You probably can't see. Versamark is a watermark ink. It doesn't really show up. Okay, I'll try and show you a little bit so that you can see it. You can kind of see there's the ink. All right, now I'm going to take my white embossing powder. And I'm going to bring our sketch in and put that down so I can catch this. And I'm just going to sprinkle this all over my daisies. And then I'm going to shake up the extra. Now you can see the powder is stuck to the ink. See this little speck right here? Can't really see it that well, but you can get that away. You can use a little paintbrush if you're worried. Anywhere there's white, it's going to show up once I turn on the heat embossing gun. So let's put you down for a minute. I'm going to put this stuff away. Just fold my paper back up and put the excess back in. So it looks like I used a ton, but I really didn't. Put it right back in there. And get the cover back on. And then I'm going to grab my gun, my heat tool. And you want to heat this up a little bit before you start blowing it on your image. And you're just going to hold it on an angle. And all of a sudden, it heats up and changes. There it goes. Can you see it? It's the coolest thing. All right, there's one. And we're getting to 2. All right. Here's our daisy. Now we're ready to use the punch. Okay. Stampin' Up! Punches lock. They come with this little lock on the bottom. You squeeze it and push it over, and so it stores flat. And when you want to put these in the punch, you're going to do it upside down so that you can see that you have it where you want it, especially if you've already stamped it. So I'm going to have to turn this to get it in, and you can see it's kind of hitting. So I'm just going to snip it off. Now, I could have punched first and then stamped. I find it's easier to do it this way, even though I kind of have to line it up and figure out where it wants to punch, than it is to try and stamp on something that's little. So you just kind of have to play with it a little bit till you get it where you want it. Still not right. Ooh, I think I'm right there. No. Come on. Hold on. There. Now, come on, Mr. Stamperoo. Let's get you in here where you belong. I think I got it now. There it is. You line it up, get it where it belongs, and then squeeze. And there's your daisy. And we're going to do the next one. And now I'm going to stamp in the middle when I figure out which one is the better daisy that I want on top. Okay, get him lined up. And punch. All right, so there's my punch. My daisies are out. Now I'm going to take my scissors, my snips, and I'm just going to curl these ever so slightly. Don't pull too hard or you'll pull off the petal, but you kind of want to curl them down a little, right? So they start to curve down. And then this guy's going to go on top, so I'm going to use some early espresso. And I'm going to look in here, and I have two different spots that can go in the center of the daisy. This one has a lot of detail. So I'm going to show you Stamp Off. I'm going to put this on. This is the first one. I want this one to be lighter. So I'm going to use the same ink pad. I'm going to stamp in here, stamp on the paper, and then stamp in here. All right. Now I'm going to take same ink pad. I'm going to take the one with the details. Get it good. Oh, gee whiz. Don't stick to that. Stick to me. And then I'm going to stamp on top. Now, if you look super close, you can see that we have two different colors, but we've stamped. Now, I didn't stamp it perfect in the middle, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Daisies will be okay. What if you look at it and go, I really don't like that. Really don't like it. It's going to make me crazy. I'm not going to be happy. Well, go into your little embellishment pile and pull out these super cute, these are the black rhinestones. And you're going to take a bunch of black rhinestones and fill in this center. And now it's going to look even cooler than you can imagine. So basically the reason I want you to see this is don't fuss about that it didn't look just like what you thought you wanted it to look like. And you get carried away and think, oh, that's horrible, I ruined it. You never ruined it. You can always fix it. You can always do something else with it. And then if you don't want to keep fussing with these itty bitty ones, move over. I need one more little one. Move over. Thank you. Then you can put a bigger one in the middle. I want you there. I really do. Thank you. And then we have these bigger ones. We could just do one in the middle. Okay? All right. And now we got to do the same thing with these petals. You can use your fingers. You can use your scissors. And then you're going to take a mini dimensional. These are the mini dimensionals. They're tiny. And you're going to pop one of those right in the center here. And then pop this right on top. Twist it a little. And there's your daisy. Brown-eyed Susan. Actually, it came out as a black-eyed Susan, but that's okay. We like that too. And then we are ready to put this together with our card. So now we have this guy on here. Again, I'm going to pop it up with, I'm going to use a regular dimensional now. They're a little bit bigger. And then I have the leaves to add to it if I want. Now remember, you're thinking, well, the sketch didn't look just like this. Nope, it didn't. But you start with this and you build on the sketch. So this has, I could put the leaves and the stem if I wanted. I'm not going to do that tonight because I don't want to take up tons of time with it. But I still need my sentiment on here. So what do I have for a sentiment? Well, let's look back here. This has thank you. That's wonderful. But it's a little big. Your thoughtfulness brightened my day. So I need to decide, what do I have room for? This is the thank you. And thank you will go here. But if I just stamp that on this pattern paper, it's not going to show up well. So I need to make it go on something. I can put it on a strip of paper and let it go across. I could stamp it on white. Or maybe I could use a stitch thinlet and add that to it. It sort of takes away from my flower, so I don't really like that. So maybe I won't use this thank you. Maybe I will use a smaller one that can go and use this is probably my favorite label punch. I love this because it's great for putting sentiments on. And this, I'm just going to use For Your Kindness. And I'm going to stamp that. I'm going to get it on here straight. And I'm going to stamp this on a piece of Whisper White, which I have a leftover piece just hanging around here. And I'm going to use my same Early Espresso. You can see where the punches come in super handy. Makes putting a card together really easy and fast. Stay here. And now I have this that's going to go right here. And I'm thinking I definitely need my branch, my stems to my flower, because it looks like it's just floating in the sky. Come down here, sir. I need you. And I want you with Early Espresso, which is right here. Notice I'm not using all of it because I don't need all of it. It's going to go off the edge. This could have gone, if the card was going this way, I would have a long enough stem to do it. But in this case, I don't want that. I want it just down here. So I don't need all that ink. And I need to kind of lift up my petals a little and pop you in. And then I have these really great leaves that I can just add, or I could punch them. I could cut them out. All right. Depending on how much time you have is how much detail you can do. If you have 5 minutes and you don't really have a lot of time, you just realize that you need a thank you card and you forgot to do it, you still have time to throw one of these together super quick. Grab a sketch, grab a couple punches, and you are good to go. You can add to that by bringing in one of the, tie it into the same thing as the center that you used, and you're good. All right, so there's 2 different cards using the same sketch. Yeah, they're similar, but no, not really. Okay, all right, let's do one more. And pick up my mess, though. If not, I'm going to have ink and stamps all over me. This is the Stampin' Scrub. You spritz it on the left side. You have a wet side and a dry side. Wet side is Stampin' Mist. Spritz. And you just take your dirty old stamp and you rub it on the wet side. And then you rub it on the dry side. And you are good to go. And you put them back where they belong. Now this is stained. It worked absolutely fine. You didn't see any red coming through on the Versamark. It's because I used a really dark color on the photopolymer first, and they tend to stain. But they still work just fine. Susan she wore out her Stampin' Scrub. I was worried that something had happened, and she told me she's had it a really long time. So I guess they eventually wear out. But you and you, okay. Whoops, nope, my sentiment. And there we go. So now, what are we going to do the next time? Well, this time I thought I would use, the good thing about this Stampin' Mist, it takes the black off your hands too, if you happen to get a little icky in your stamping. You can also use a wipe. Yes, you can. All right. This time we are going to use, let's get all these confusions. We're going to use the Painted Harvest. This is one of my favorites. Perfect for Halloween. Perfect for Thanksgiving. It's just so pretty. And I have my white cardstock. I'm going to use some of the So Saffron again. And I think I'm going to use my craft paper as well. So I have these 2 colors. And then I'm going to use my pumpkin pie and my crushed curry, I think. All right, so I kind of have that decided. Now let's figure out what's going to go where. And I'm going to do the same sketch. So my sunflower is going to be right here. And I'm going to use these inks. So what I'm going to do is the yellow is going to go, the So Saffron is going to go as my background, the blue. This will be my craft. All right, so the yellow needs to be 4 by 5 1/4. start with a nice 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to use the embossing folder again. See which one we'll use this time. The leaves are pretty cool, but I'm going to go with, this is the quilted Christmas one. It just gives some really good dimension. So remember, I got to swap out the plates. And this is not a dynamic one, it's a regular one. So I need both of the clear plates for this one. And we just run it on through. All right. This is just so cool. Look what that does. Right? Isn't that great? Okay. And I'm going to put this on down. I'm really having a hard time getting this on straight. The beauty of snail is it does let you move it. Come in. There. Okay, that's on. Now I'm going to use the craft. But now I'm going to think about this before I do it. Because yes, this is designed to go 2 by 4 and go that way. But maybe I want it to go, maybe I want my card to go this way. But I still like the vertical stripe. So I'm thinking I'm going to swap this out and I'm going to go, instead of 2 by 4, which is this one, I'm going to go 2 by 5 1/4. Stick with me for a second. I know it sounds mathy, but we can do it. So I'm going to do 5 1/4. Okay, by 2. So even though I'm still kind of going with this sketch, I'm going to go this way. All right? Okay, so that's going to go like that. Then I'm ready to build my sunflower. And I'm going to, I want the your kindness means more than you will ever know. Got to figure out where that's going to go. And I want I'm thankful for you. Okay. So a couple ideas. Because I embossed on this, it's not going to go. It's going to look really silly. I'm thankful for you will go here, I think. Let's check it out. So you double check, you take your stamp, before you get committed to anything. I'm thankful for you will just fit there. All right, so that's great. But maybe I want this a little bit more over here now. So it's going to kind of kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It's going to be this focal point that we have on the sketch, but it's also going to take up where the sentiment goes. All right, so we are changing the design, but that's why you're doing it now. All right, I'm going to put you up here. I'm going to bring you down here. There's still a little bit of powder left over from our embossing. And sometimes it just looks better to do your sentiment in black instead of, I mean, I don't like to mix a lot of colors, but I do like my sentiment in black. Memento is the new, well, it's not new. It's new to me because it's what you need to use your Stampin' Blends with. Stampin' Blends are the new alcohol markers. So I'm really liking the way the Memento ink looks. It is really cool. So I'm thankful for you is going to go right here. Perfect. And now I'm ready to build my sunflower. I'm going to take my Whisper White and get my stamps out. You'll notice there are two that build this. There is not a bundle that goes with this. There's not a punch that goes with this one. So it does fit the 2 1/4 inch circle. So I can do that, or I can cut by hand. Then I've also got these really great leaves. So I just have to think about what I'm going to do. These leaves do go with the leaf punch, this one. Okay? All right. So let's do some stamping and see what happens. And this is often one that stamping off looks pretty cool too, but I'm going to use the two different ones. So I'm going to use the crushed curry on the bottom. And then I'm going to grab my pumpkin pie on the top. And you kind of have to wiggle it a little bit till you figure out what goes where. Now I'm off a little bit. It's not going to matter. But if I don't really like that idea, if I'm not happy that it's off, I'm just going to go back and stamp another one. I have a hard time doing this when my camera's over my head. I can't get right over it. That's my excuse, and I'm sticking with it. I seriously can't see you. I'm going to hope that's close. Close enough. It's going to do. So now I have my centerpiece to do, and I'm going to do this in a lighter brown. I'm going to do it in, let's go with soft suede. This is a fun stamp set to really play with. I'm going to practice over here first. I like that better. And now I'm going to show you what to do if you're not happy with the way it lines up. Now, if you look at this, I'm liking the highlight that I have on the one I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one. But if this was the one I was using, I don't like the space. So what I can do is grab my aqua painter, which looks like this. This is filled with water. Take my soft suede, squeeze it a little bit this way. Open it up. And see, now I've got some ink right here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the soft suede, and I'm going to come over here and just kind of fix a maboo-boo. Fill that right in. And if I hadn't told you, you would never know. And let it dry. Okay? So there's always hope. Never give up. You can always fix boo-boos. And then you want to wipe this off before you close it up so that it doesn't leak all over stuff. And then close it up. All right, now we're ready to cut out our, I'm going to dry this because I want to practice with this one. So here's my 2 1/4 inch punch. And I'm going to line that up. and cut. All right, so let's do this one. This is the one I really want. And that's going to go right here. Now, if I don't like the way that this is just too perfect, that's where a little bit of this would come into play. And you just, if you're going to cut like this, if you're going to try and, it's called fussy cutting for a reason, because it is a little fussy. I don't hate it. I kind of like it. Notice I don't turn the scissors. I turn the paper. And you just snip around. Sorry, I can't talk and cut at the same time. Almost done, almost. You could also have used, if you didn't want to use the punch and you don't want to cut, there's also layered thinlits, and they have a, let me grab a couple to show you. They have a more ragged edge. They have one like this. So I could have used this guy, and it would have been, it's still kind of a perfect shape, and maybe that isn't what I want. I kind of like this better. But I need to put my leaves in because I think the leaves are going to make this. So this guy can get attached now. I think I want it on this side. And then this guy is going to get some dimensionals and get popped up off the page a little bit. Thanks, Debbie. I like my fussy cut too. This looks too whatever. I don't like it. 1, 2, oops, I missed you. I like this better. And I'm going to come over here with this. And then my leaves are really cool. Let's move you right there. And I can do them on the white if I want. And I have, this is a double, again, a double layered leaf. So I'm going to use, let's grab this one. I'm going to use my old olive to get my leaf. And it's the same idea. You've got both. You've got, I'm going to do the stamp off with this. I'm going to stamp this guy twice. See, it gets lighter. And then I'm going to stamp this one. Make sure I have a good ink. And I'm going to stamp this on top. And you can see that it's darker. It's a watercolor stamp. It isn't a perfect detailed stamp. Now again, I don't use the punch for this one. I'm going to fussy cut this one because it's what I wanted it to look. I like that look better. I think if I had punched the leaves and fussy cut the flower, it might look a little funny. So again, I have to do this, and it doesn't really, it's just kind of, you know, hold the scissor, curve yourself a little, twist and turn. And it doesn't, it's not perfect. It really isn't. And then this can kind of tuck under here like so. And I think I'm going to go with one, although I could do the other one. Let's cut this out and see if we want to. And I could come back and be more fussy if I didn't like it. I'm okay with it for right now. Oops, sorry, hit the camera. And then the your kindness means this one. I'm going to do that on the inside. So I'm going to pop this off. And again, I'm going to use my memento. And I just need another block. I don't always stamp inside my cards. I often leave them blank, but this one needs this. And this is just going to go right here. All right. Yeah, I don't like that second leaf. I only like the one. And I need you. I need to tuck you under here. There we go. So let's clean up my mess a little so that you can actually see what we did. I tend to make a mess when I'm doing this. And we have, whoops, 1, 2, 3 from this sketch. You kind of see the basic idea that we started with this, but then we kind of launched off onto other things. All right. Anybody has any questions, just drop me a note. I will process this class and upload it along with the sketch to my blog, karamiller.com. And I will also give you a list of what I used. Oh, Debbie had a really good point. This block is stained, and she has found that if she cleans it with hand sanitizer, it goes away. That's a great idea. I'll have to try that. I'll let you know. I think I need to wash my Stampin' Scrub too, which, by the way, yes, they can be washed. The little things pop out. I think I've been stamping a lot lately. The little panels. A black stamp that you can't even recognize. Have you tried like warm soapy water? Oh, right. I would just try, like Dawn dishwashing stuff tends to clean the best of anything. I would just try some warm soapy water and see if it doesn't do that. You could try the hand sanitizer. Debbie, she has a black stamp that, Dolly's asking, is there a remedy for a black stamp that you can't even see what it is anymore? And she just can't get it clean. Have you tried the Stampin' Scrub? It just doesn't do it. Yeah. I'm not sure, but if it's not usable anyway, I would try a few things to see if I could get it clean. Yes, these pop out. See this little corner? I tend to use my scissors so I don't hurt myself, but these things just pop right out. My giant scissors that are going to cause blood to happen. And then you just wash them, set them to dry, and they'll be perfect. And again, warm soapy water for this too. All right. All right, you guys, we covered a lot tonight. I'm glad you came. Have a terrific weekend before Thanksgiving. I'm going to start some cooking myself so I don't have to be crazy all week. And I'll see you all soon. Those of you that are coming to the Night of Cards, remember that's Sunday night. We're starting early. We're starting at 7. You get an invitation to the Night of Cards if you place any order on my Stampin' Up! Website. So if you haven't been invited yet, pop your order in. You've still got time, and we'll get you into the Night of Cards on Sunday night. Have a great night. Bye.